right, welcome to our third and final review of the evening. Up this time is Figment, an isometric action adventure game for the PC and recently released on the Nintendo Switch, and coming soon to the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. No date given yet for that one, but it, anyway. Right. So if you're watching the trailer footage, you might get a sense of Bastion from the art style and the design of the game.
I understand that's entirely not accidental.
Maybe, but I'm going to say right now, don't go into this game looking for Bastion. It's not Bastion. Like, it's got maybe this, a similar visual design, but in terms of game focus, rather different. I mean, and that is to say, this game is a lot more puzzle focused than Bastion was. There is combat here, but I'm going to lay this down here and now. The combat was the weakest aspect of the game. Mainly because it's really basic and it doesn't really evolve past thwacking a stick or charging up and like thwacking a stick. It's like it's got combat, but it's very perfunctory. Like it exists, and that's about it. It's clearly that the development and focus was on puzzles of various sorts. Anyway, as far as the game itself, this is an adventure of the mind in a very literal sense. As you play some person, like I'm not exactly you are some man. Like the identity is not really given past that, outside of optional memory fragments. That's the game's collectible. Like you will get pictures of childhood, soccer game, mother telling you something, what have you. But who you are in the real world doesn't really matter. That's just the framing for what's going on inside the mind. And that is, the mind is a peaceful place for a very long time until nightmares start showing up and you play as Dusty, the mind's, or what passes for the mind's sense of courage. It's like, because the mind's been so peaceful and calm, he's kind of out of practice. He teams up with a bird thing who I'm surmising represents the mind's sense of optimism, given her ever chipper attitude. And the goal is to, rescue your scrapbook from a specific nightmare, the lingering fear of loss. And
that is a significant fear.
You will have to chase him across the mind, or rather, he escapes to a higher plane of the brain and represented by a tube, and the tube is really chaotic. So you got to go into the right and left sides of the brain, and they're represented. The right is the creative side of the brain, and the left is the logic center. And that's not actually how the brain works, people. Like, that's some outdated science.
Yeah, the two parts of the brain do different things somewhat, but it's flexible.
But that whole right brain, left brain thing, that's been disproven for a while now. Okay, just want to make that fucking clear, because we're still dealing with that fucking misconception.
But maybe this is a mind of someone who believes in it.
Get out.
I'm like, I will destroy you.
I'll help.
Anyway, so what you got to do is you got to hunt down some other nightmares. I don't remember offhand what they represent. One, I guess, is the fear of bad smells, and the other is the fear of spiders.
Okay, then.
Well, it's like one is basically a fart cloud, or, attacks using such things.
Hey, it could be the fear of farting in public.
Possibly. And the other is a spider.
Okay, that one's self-explanatory.
Yeah, it's like, it is a spider nightmare. So, yeah, fear of spiders. And, yeah, you gotta track them down, kill them, get their masks in order to make the passageway calm. Admittedly, I got to the final stages of the game, but I didn't complete it because being sick. I was a bit too busy being sick this week, in addition to all the other stuff we were doing this week. So, unfortunately, because I rather like the game, once again, is it as good as Bastion? No, but it's fine. It's fine in its own right, and I liked the focus. Words are hard.
Yes, they are.
The focus on puzzles. They're not especially complicated puzzles. It's like, and granted, like the right side of the brain, they use the use object to progress puzzle way too often. Not surprisingly, going with the thematics, the puzzles on the left side of the brain were much stronger. But still, I like the focus. I did think the puzzles took a nosedive once you got to the final area because sliding. They didn't call them, but they were sliding block puzzles, and I don't like sliding block puzzles too much. But maybe that's just a subjective thing. Like, the visuals and the music, everything is here to invoke a dreamlike state of being. Not a surprise. The music, especially, is pretty dynamic. Like, what I liked is there are several kind of instrument things, like trumpetries and piano, lying around, and if you get near them, they'll layer onto the music. Also, all of the villains fucking sing, so that's a thing. I'm like, that's gonna be a subjective thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see. The game is pretty straightforward, fairly linear, though broken up into several stages per area, per chapter. Like, you're mainly focused on, not just getting to the nightmare, but like, say on the left side of the brain, the main focus is dealing with the train of thought. That's literally what it's called. You've got to get a weight, and that takes a lot of chapters and all that sort of thing. And yeah, the game is pretty solid, though honestly, in my estimation, it doesn't really rise beyond solid in most respects. I did like the narrative design of the game, the story it was telling about the mind, and specifically Dusty refinding purpose, though kind of being defined by conflict, was kind of concerning. Let's see. Yeah, there's surprisingly not as much to this game as I initially thought, but that's fine. how long it would take to complete? It's about 8 to 10 hours. It's a fairly decent-sized adventure. Replay value, probably the only really, that's in the collectibles. And to be honest, I didn't have a giant desire to hunt down the memories. No. Also worth noting, in spite of how family-friendly the game looks, it is a bit on the coarse side. I'd say E10 and up to teen.
This is one of those that doesn't have an official ESRB rating?
I think it does, because it was released on the Nintendo Switch.
Right.
Yeah, let me see if ESRB rating. Let's see. ESRB rating search. Yes, live research.
Yep, it's what we do.
Figment. Doesn't... Weird, I don't see any ESRB ratings.
And I can go get my Switch if you want. I don't have it with me.
Because it's set... it says it's out for the Nintendo Switch. Give us a bit here. Awkward. Anyway, while we're doing that, price. So price is kind of an interesting deal here, at least on the PC, because, it comes part of several bundles. The base game is $20. I'm going to say right now that's a bit too expensive for it on its own. I'd say 15 was more the proper price point, given what's on offer.
This doesn't look to have a rating thing.
Weird. It also comes... There is a downloadable soundtrack, $8. Once again, too expensive on its own. Together, it's $23.78. Your best value there. But more to the point, it comes with several bundles. We've got the bedtime bundle, where it's packaged with 2 other bedtime digital games, Chronology and Back to Bed. This is probably what you want to plunk down for, because it's priced at $24.77. So you're getting 3 games for about $5 more. And there is the Epic Adventures bundle. That's 5 games: Vidar, I Hope, Figment, Boot Hill Bounties, and Earthrock. That's clocking in at $58.05. Yeah, that might be a bit rich for the blood, especially since I have no idea what any of these other games are. So, yeah.
The point is, though, maybe worth it if you're interested in some of these other games and it's a bundle.
Yeah, it's I'd recommend getting the bedtime bundle. That, haven't played the other games in that series, but get just the price offset. Yeah, this would be the way to go.
Assuming any other games are worth the remainder.
Back to Bed is $6, and Chronology is, and it's got to load here, $5. So yeah, all that bundled together, I'd say that's actually a pretty good deal. I wish I could recommend it standalone, but like I said, I didn't think the combat gameplay was up to snuff.
Figment on the Switch is currently $14 at a 30% off deal for I don't know how long. Yeah, and it is ESRB T for teen.
There we go. See, I thought it was going to be in that range, because it is a bit more coarse with its language and themes than it initially looks with its art style.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that would be my recommendation. Get it on the get the Switch deal or get the bundle package. Calculating everything, solid game, but it doesn't really. Sadly, it doesn't really rise above 7 out of 10. Right. So that'll conclude this week's review segment or session, whatever word you want to use. As always, if you enjoyed our reviews and our general nonsense, be sure to click the subscribe and bell button. It's been a while since I've reminded people about that. Don't want to go too long, but I also don't want to get incessant about it. Because let's be honest, who likes those people who have to constantly remind? I get it's part of the game. It's part of, this thing that we do, but it does grate on the nerves after a while. So anyway, coming up the week ahead, things are unfortunately a bit up in the air right now with this upcoming week, especially concerning Tuesday. We are still waiting to hear back from Tuesday's guests. We will know tomorrow. I'm like, so tomorrow either the website will update or it won't.
Ours or theirs?
Ours. Like, I'm not going to be able to update the website until they get back to me. Like, I literally do not know who we are interviewing because they haven't picked a person yet.
Ah, right.
It's like this is the kind of information we're missing. So this, and their representative has been having a hard time getting in contact with them. So all it adds up to is there's a good chance that we might not have a show on Tuesday, which isn't the worst thing in the world. We've had this happen before. We'll reschedule. And on November 7th, we are slated to have Mitchell Garrett and Jonathan Queller of Rosé Ex Ludis. That's a mouthful. Haven't confirmed back, but still a few days on that one. We'll be talking about their game Blood Nor Water, a game about finding identity in a hopeless place. Blood Nor Water is a narratively driven strategy game focusing on a small band of soldiers trying to find their place in a war that is bigger than themselves. So, they recently had a successful Kickstarter campaign, recently announced a Switch version, if I'm recalling correctly. So, quite a bit to talk about here.
Sounds like an uplifting and positive experience of a game.
No doubt. So, I guess maybe Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, I'll wish you good gaming.